Hey mamas, I'm Pamela Pekerman, but you already know that. The lovely lady sitting right next to me is Andrea Mullen, the founder of Victory PR, and we are about to sit on the stoop and share some mom life meets entrepreneur life shenanigans. Okay, Andrea, so we framed everybody who's watching out there to kind of get a sense of what are your days like now. So how old are the kids right now?
I have two sons who are 6 and 3.
And you are about to celebrate 10 years with Victory PR. So tell me about the idea behind forming this business, because I know you and I have had a lot of conversations about how you created the business and why you left corporate PR firms. So tell me about the idea behind Victory PR and how it better suits you now.
Sure. So my hope was that I could control my schedule a little bit more effectively so that I could have the home life I wanted as well as the career I wanted, because it felt even before I was married and before kids were on the horizon, I knew that it was not going to work for me in a traditional office job, but I also was not willing to kind of give up the dream of a big career.
And so what were sort of the first moments of challenges that you saw with Victory PR, and how did you solve them? Because I know a lot of women out there, they're about to launch a business and they already have the baby. So what were some of those challenges and how did you resolve them?
So my experience with owning my own business was incredibly well planned out. I knew exactly what I wanted to do when I had my first son. I knew exactly how it was going to go, and I had a plan and a contingency plan, and none of it worked. So
good to know. But that's honesty. We have to share that.
Yeah. So it was incredibly hard. Everything that I envisioned working out. I own a business where we are all remote. All of our work takes place through email. Of course, as a publicist, I have to build relationships with media members as well as clients. And at that point, we had been doing it for, I'd been in the field for a number of years. So I felt confident that a lot of my work could be done via email or on the phone, and with, very measured in-person meetings during what would have been my maternity leave. And none of it worked out. So my son he wasn't a good sleeper. I was a very tense new mother, and I had to really make some quick snap decisions to adapt to all of the different things, including implementing a more robust childcare plan that had not been part of my I thought that I would be the main caretaker for my son.
Aha.
Yeah.
So I think that's something that we've seen across the board with a lot of mom entrepreneurs, myself included, and I've been very open about that, is we think, well, because you're an entrepreneur and you can be available all the time, you're going to be able to jump easier from the business mindset to the mom mindset, and then you sort of quickly realize that you need a teamwork. So who is on that team right now, and how do you function with a better flow?
Right now? So right now we have a wonderful nanny who is full-time, and she takes care of my kids, she takes care of my house, she takes care of me.
I like that she takes care of me.
She does, she's amazing. And we have, my parents help out a lot.
And so right now, what would you say is your biggest challenge right now as a mom entrepreneur? So you have the help set up, and it sounds like it's working for you.
Yeah.
If anybody knows, my drama continues, but what is the flow like now? Like, what do your mornings look like? I think that's sort of the weakest point for most mothers.
Oh, God, mornings. Mornings are bad. They are better now. My kids are 3 and 6, but they're still, it's just a really chaotic time. So my kids get up, my oldest gets up at like 6 o'clock, my youngest sleeps a little bit later, and I always make it a point. They're kind of their best in the morning, so I make it a point.
Really?
They are. They're well rested, they're like happy, they, it's a good time for them. So I make it a point to like have a little time on the couch with them, cuddling with them, because then by the time I get home, it's around their dinner time, it's been a long day, they're a little bit tired, I'm tired. So our mornings are kind of special. We stick to the schedule, so I get them ready in the morning, and then my nanny takes them to school at like 8:30, and I go about. Then it really is a rush to the finish line.
Now, is your office in Jersey, or are you in Manhattan? In Jersey.
We have an office in Summit.
Has it always been in New Jersey, even before the kids were born?
My vision was to work from home. That was the other thing that was going to really make this all possible in that way, so eliminate the commute.
Was that like the Disney vision? That,
oh,
yes, it was like unicorns.
Because it is cool working from home, and I have dedicated office space, and but there's a lot of people in and out of my house. At the time it was my parents, our babysitter always did some days as well. My kids are in and out because they're in school as well, and they're coming home and to and from activities and play dates. So it just was not, even going down and getting a cup of coffee in the kitchen was a minefield, because who saw you and who wanted, if my kids see me, they want to spend time with me, and I don't want to brush them off.
I like that choice of word, minefield, because I feel like motherhood, whether you're an entrepreneur or not, sometimes is that minefield of like, do I go down? Do they see me? Do I stay in the car if I have help? Always stay in the car if you have help. She's like, yeah.
Oh, okay. Always. And for me, it was like, I have always been ambitious. My ambition has grown as I've matured in my motherhood journey. But for me, a lot of it was, this company was supposed to really fit into my life. So I wasn't supposed to spend money on rent or invest that way. And that was sort of a moment where that was like a boss moment. Like, yes, I am going to invest in this because my work is worth that.
Now, how far away is the office from?
Half a mile from my house.
So
I walk every day.
Nice.
I love it. I'm gonna get a bike. That's my thing.
You're gonna
see me biking around town.
I like the word that you use, that your workflow has to align with your values, and I think that that's something, after a lot of us have children, we sort of struggle with that. There's a shift of sort of what you were doing before may or may not suit me anymore. How do you align on a general basis your values with your business flow?
For me, it's all about keeping a schedule. So before I had kids, I was, there was no schedule, and that was okay during that time of my life. I basically worked, and I love my work, so, it didn't feel burdensome to have to work whenever I was needed or at all times.
On call.
All the time, and I loved it. And now, just like, one of the things that a lot of people teach you when you have babies is that really, you have to adhere to the schedule so the baby knows what to expect. And I find that that's true now. Both for me, I find comfort in knowing what's next. My kids continue to like to know what comes next. Even our clients and the media, they want, it helps us to become more reliable to them. And for me, it's like making sure that even though Victory has changed, so we now have an office space, I work a more traditional schedule. These are all things that I said were never going to be part of my equation. So even though Victory looks a little bit different than I had initially imagined it would look, the things that really are so important to us are that the people who work for Victory, myself and the others included, have flexibility in the sense that, we can take care of what we need to take care of for a family and for us personally. I don't think that should be limited just to people with young kids, and still do excellent work. So that's really what it's all about for us.
I love that, and I think that that's a shift that I'm hoping more larger corporations take into account, because they're going to start losing more and more of their female, mom-oriented employees to smaller companies like Victory PR that are going to give you the flexibility and knowing that you are still going to deliver for them. I think there are so many businesses that have sat in this seat, or rather inside the house, and have talked about that they are mindful of their needs, and so they're mindful of the employees' needs as well. Whether they have children that are small, older, or no children, everybody has a life.
Yeah.
And you have to take that into account.
And you want to work with people who are happy, you want to work with people who are driven and passionate, and I have found that by respecting what they have going on beyond Victory makes that so much more likely to be the case for everyone to kind of embody that. The other thing that comes up a lot for us is that this idea of flexibility, which 10 years ago when I started this company, it was kind of unheard of. It was almost like a cop-out, Flexibility doesn't mean working less or not working as hard. It means making different choices and, working more confidently and sometimes even harder than you would under a more, traditional kind of 9-to-5 situation. So
I want to talk really about the sort of the nitty-gritty of your business, because you've signed some pretty awesome deals, and she's the most humble person I know. But what deals have you signed, and when you're in that room pitching yourself, because in that respect you are pitching yourself as your business, what are some tips that you can share for how to land that deal?
Sure. So I think one that you're referring to is Motherly.
Motherly.
So we're very proud to represent Motherly, and I mean, that is just a business that we can all learn so much. I personally have learned so much from my relationship with the founders, Liz Kennedy being, in particular, who has become a friend of mine as well. We're just so happy to work with them. Something that I would say that is most important is understanding what your value is and being able to articulate that really succinctly and with conviction, and having the confidence that, just like you said, I'm very humble, and that's actually, I always thought of that as something to be proud of, and I think that it's not something to be necessarily, it's just not. Like, there's no gain from being overly humble, nothing to gain from being overly humble, especially when you work as hard and you have a team behind you working as hard as ours is. Sometimes it is okay to toot your own horn.
Wave your flag.
Wave your flag.
So one thing we always like to talk about here on Hustle Like a Mom is that you can't hustle as a mom unless you take care of yourself, or as one of my friends says, mother yourself. So what is something that you have to do for yourself to feel healthy, happy, and whole?
Well, I work out. I schedule my workouts in my work calendar. So I take time out of my workday to do it. And if I don't do that, I am definitely not my best self. And it shows in my home life, my work life, and even I don't sleep as well. And I love Bar Method. That's been really my savior.
Maybe that should be your next signing client. There you go.
Yes.
We're just going to put it out to the mom universe to sign Bar Method as a client at Victory PR, because you never know.
You are kind.
Thank you so much, my friend. Thank you, everybody, for joining us here on The Stoop for Hustle Like a Mom. And do not forget to hustle your own special way.